Okay, today we are diving into a truly revolutionary idea, something that comes from the power of neuroplasticity. It's this every single thought you have is physically, literally changing your brain. And by doing that, you're actually changing the course of your entire life. So let's just start with a really basic question. Is your brain set in stone? For centuries, the common belief, even among very smart scientists, was that, yeah, by the time you hit adulthood, your brain was pretty much done changing. And that belief, well, that leads us directly to our first big idea we need to tackle, what we'll call the myth of the fixed brain. Yeah, for the longest time, the official story was that your brain grows and changes like crazy when you're a kid, right? But then, somewhere in your early 20s, it just locks in. It becomes static. Whatever you had then, well, that's what you were stuck with for the rest of your life. But as it turns out, that's not even close to the whole story. So if that old idea is just a myth, what's the reality? Well, that brings us to this incredible new understanding of the brain that actually rewires itself. The concept that completely changed the game is called neuroplasticity. Now I know, it's a big word, but what it means is actually pretty simple and honestly profound. It's just the brain's natural, built-in ability to change, to reorganize itself, to create brand new pathways, not just when you're a kid, but all the way through your entire life. And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? The real breakthrough here is understanding this isn't some weird fluke. Your brain is designed to change. It's what it does. I mean, right now, as you're just listening to this, your brain is literally rewiring itself based on this new information. So how in the world did we figure this out after all that time? Well, it's all thanks to incredible new technologies like PET scans and fMRIs. For the very first time, they gave scientists a window, a way to peek inside a living, working brain. They could actually see blood flow and electrical signals shifting in real time as someone learned something new. They were watching the brain physically adapt right before their eyes. And what they saw was just absolutely astonishing. This rewiring wasn't just happening in the brains of kids and teenagers. Nope, it was happening constantly, every single moment, in people of all ages. So it's really no surprise that this whole discovery has been called the holy grail of personal growth. Think about it. It's the hard scientific proof that we are not hardwired by our pasts. We all have the biological machinery for real, lasting change. Okay, so we've established that the brain can change. That's huge. But how? How does it actually work? This brings us to the really fascinating mechanics of your brain's programming. A really great way to think about this comes from the book. Picture your brain as running on these programs. Every single thing you've ever seen, heard, thought, every experience you've had, it's all been recorded. And it's created the neural pathways that are essentially these programs. And this whole thing works in a constant cycle, a feedback loop. So let's say you're learning a new skill, like playing guitar. Step 1 is the input. You practice a new chord. Step 2 is the rewire. Your brain physically strengthens the connections for that chord. Then, step 3 is the feedback. The next time you try to play that chord, it's a little easier, a little more automatic. It's a continuous loop that just keeps reinforcing itself. Now, that loop is incredible for building new, good habits. But it begs the question, right? What about the old habits, the stuff we don't want to do anymore? What happens to those programs? Well, it turns out your brain is also incredibly efficient. It doesn't want to waste energy on things you're not using. So it actively prunes, it gets rid of the neural pathways that fall into disuse. The principle here is so simple. Use it or lose it. If you stop running an old, unhelpful program, the brain will eventually just dismantle that connection. Okay, so let's recap. The brain is constantly installing new programs based on what we do, and it's pruning away the old ones we ignore. This is amazing, but it also implies that this isn't just something happening to us. It means we have a say in it, which leads us to our final and most powerful idea, becoming the programmer. To really get this, we have to make a key distinction between the brain and the mind. They're not the same thing. The brain is the physical organ, right? It's the hardware. But the mind is the conscious director. It's the software that runs on that hardware. So just let this sink in. Your brain, all those neurons and synapses, that's the hardware. But your mind, your awareness, your choices, your focus, that's the programmer. You are the one at the keyboard writing the code. So the empowering conclusion to all of this is right here. You can absolutely take charge of your own mental programs, who you are, how you feel, what you think. But, and this is the important part, it's not magic. It doesn't just happen. You have to actively, intentionally wire your brain with the instructions for what you want it to do next. And that really leaves us with one final and I think pretty profound question. Now that you know you're the programmer and you know your brain is sitting there ready and waiting for new code, what will you program your brain to do next?